Yeah, Lenco Industries, tenfold intricacies. No business justice, no business peace. The Cytotron, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn comes from the gut. Not just a brainy affair, and a check 1-2 to whomever claims me as their squares. I reach kindred spirits on a level that's abstract. We're all kind of messed under the laws of the NASDAQ. This class track culture is reaching its last act. You need chutzpah to branch out of your shtetl. What's the last time you can't say you settled, crab scratch? My balls are as heavy as a shot putter's. But tsunami can't happen here, cocksuckers. Every shoreline will change in this century. I got something special for the Civil War sesquicentenary. Adults are a literal waste to energy. Stuck in the middle, afraid of their penury. Infantile votes for a surrogate parent. Codicil to Tocqueville's American experiment. Only thing changed behavior, imminent death. Tongues rot, think they got cinnamon breath. Mortal men and women named Beth. See me say, that's him in the flesh. Underground hypocrites obsessed with celebrities. Your friends are your enemies when it's quote-unquote better than me. They gave slave houses as a wall between natives. So who says a stiff upper lip means uncreative? If homelessness didn't exist, I'd say sure, this country's Christian. Humble congregations, bumbling publications. Regardless, religion fails us, so we turn to psychology. You gotta have the balls to reveal enough that you can't fall in love with all of me. No eye contact with baby, color colicky. Used to alphabetize records, now cloud is idolatry. Write songs instead of pressing like on a wall for Paul to see. Is my mic on? It's been a type long time since I outrhyme my icons. Strike one. Grown-ups know honesty is not the best policy. Don't ask me my opinion if I isn't impressed. I'm not a cynical guest, it's just that you're in denial. Go ahead, what's your definition of imminent death? Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn? Freeze, right? Right. Easy, night, night. Wait, what? Wrong. Fight! A fine showing of mind-blowing rhyme flowing. Out. Industries, tenfold intricacies. No business justice, no business peace. Decidetron, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn comes from the gut. Not just a brainy affair, and a check 1-2 to whomever claims me as their squares. I reach kindred spirits on a level that's abstract. We're all kind of messed under the laws of the NASDAQ. This class track culture is reaching its last act. You need chutzpah to branch out of your shtetl. What's the last time you can't say you settled? Crab scratch, my balls are as heavy as a shot putters. But tsunami can't happen here, cocksuckers. Every shoreline will change in this century. I got something special for the Civil War sesquicentenary. Adults are a litter, a waste to energy. Stuck in the middle, afraid of their penury. Infantile votes for a surrogate parent. Codicil-ed Healthville's American experiment. Only thing change behavior, imminent death. Tongues rot, think they got cinnamon breath. Mortal men and women named Beth. See me say, that's him in the flesh. Underground hypocrites obsessed with celebrities. Your friends are your enemies when it's quote-unquote better than me. They gave slaves houses as a wall between natives. So who says a stiff upper lip means uncreative? If homelessness didn't exist, I'd say sure this country's Christian. Humble congregations, bumbling publications. Regardless, religion fails us, so we turn to psychology. You gotta have the balls to reveal enough that you can't fall in love with all of me. No eye contact with baby, color colicky. Used to alphabetize records, now cloud is idolatry. Write songs instead of pressing like on a wall for Paul to see. Is my mic on? It's been a type long time since I outrhyme my icons. Strike one. Grown-ups know honesty is not the best policy. Don't ask me my opinion if I isn't impressed. I'm not a cynical guest, it's just that you're in denial. Go ahead, what's your definition of imminent death? Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn? Freeze, right? Right. Easy, night, night. Wait, what? Wrong. Fight! A fine showing of mind-blowing rhyme flowing. Out.
Our blessings to all the people out there on the interwebs, on this digital street. Right, we are composing new works, right? And of course, we offer intelligent discourse on a range of areas, right? Intellectual, may or need not apply to the types of discussions. Definitely non-professional, right? But definitely a multidisciplinary approach to the research, right? So we are not stressing any sort of professional credentials, but we do offer a bit of professionalism in regards to the subject matter and material, right? Which is mainly, corresponds with spirituality, right? Technology, right? And maybe we can combine those two spiritual technologies, right? Or maybe the idea of either biotechne, right? Or techno shamanism, right? Or many different areas in which we could apply both the technical aspects of the spiritual and go into the range of discourse and look at the dialectic that's sort of posed between science and religion, a false dialectic, I think, right? So I've sort of outlined this false dialectic, right, many times. But mainly, right, there's a false dialectic between not only technology and spirituality, but nature and man. And we believe one of the main culprits of this change. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jake's onto it, right? Reason is the false dialectic, right? As Pascal says, reason, right, confutes the dogmatists, but nature confutes the skeptics, right? So, yeah. So we got interesting stuff going on. I believe our friend Gabriel is live talking about Hegel. Let's try to see what he's doing, right? Maybe we'll join his adventure, right? That he's on, but looks like he's looking at some drama stream or whatnot. Maybe we could shake it up and talk about Hegel, right? And Hegelianism, right? So yeah, but yeah, we think one of the main culprits for this whole idea, okay, of sort of the false dialectic between man and nature, right, is this Hegelian sort of synthesis, right? Okay, he synthesized a lot of different ideas. Okay, the idea that nature um and mind are opposed to one another. And that mind is a you know something that is outside of nature. Now, this is a huge assumption, and this assumption was actually first made by Plato, right? Okay, so one of the main concepts is called, um, dualism, right? But of course, this came to mean that the mind is separate from nature. This was a first step. Okay, the second step was to basically create an externalized version of this mind, right? So obviously, when they started to talk about natural laws, okay, this was a mediator between God's mind and nature. And so God's mind had to sort of be filtered through these natural laws, if you will, right? That exist in a primordial state. And fashion the universe based on these primordial concepts or archetypes or laws or right. So this is a first step. The second step is the notion that man is a sort of mediator between God's mind and nature. Okay, and the third step is sort of this idea that the state is a realization of a divine principle that goes beyond nature. Because man and man's reason represents a divine principle that goes beyond nature. Right? Nature being in a state of becoming, and reason being filtered through eternal concepts or archetypes. So in the second state, you have this notion of man, right? Then the third notion that you need is that, obviously, as I already stated, right, that man is a mediator between God and nature. And then finally, you have this concept of the apotheosis of the state in Hegel, right? So this is one of the premier concepts, right? Or one of the premier conceptions, right? And of course, in the idea, right, these successive stages came to represent progress. I've been talking to a lot of people about this notion of how, right, this idea of progress is often conflated with the notion of Judeo-Christian, right? Right, because they move from the Jews to the Christians, right, to secularism. And this great shift was noticed by Hegel, right? And Auguste Comte and all these other thinkers, okay, who thought that Europe had catalyzed this great change, right? Europe was responsible for the universalism of man, right? And of course, universalism, sorry, is like the uprooting of traditions, right? That's how we've came to render its achievements, right? It's flattening out of humanity into the notion of the archetypal man. Adam Kadmon, right? I believe it was Rabbi Akiva, right? In the second, I don't know, first century or second century, I don't know. He also is rumored to have came up with the concept of the golem. Right, golem is the primary model for the AI computer, right? They already talked about it at the time of Jesus. They already knew about the AI system at the time of Jesus, right? Because there are legends of Rabbi Akiva creating the golem, right? Of course, it relates to this concept that you could filter out through intermediary principles and animate dead things. Bring animation to dead things, right? This reanimation. Okay, this is kind of what technology is accomplishing, right? Technology on a grand scale is kind of necromancy. Right. Anyways, should we call into Gabriel? He looks a little preoccupied. Let's see what else is going on. Yeah, it's like they're talking to people, talking to Marilyn. Okay, yeah, we will just call in. So yeah, so let's see what's going on with Gabriel. We'll have a musical break after that. Then I might end the show with reading about the history of transhumanism and a critique of modernity. If not, we'll save it for tomorrow, right? What is this? Votes? We got a yes, we got a no, we got 2 fingers representing the peace sign. We got a guy that said your rope. What's going on with that? Download Elvis. Blessings, Lizard Tree. Innate ways, I appreciate you. Reason is the false dialectic. Yeah, that was said by Jake. Truth or Tuesday. Truth or Tuesday. Hallelujah, holla back. Grand nowness. Peace and blessings, my brother. Thank you so much for I don't know. I almost said call in, right? But yeah, thank you so much for being here, my friend. I really appreciate you and your time. I love this guy, Mega Man. He's such an OG. I am Mega Man. I do not fight shadows to defeat them. I stand still long enough for the light to reveal they were never here. Blessings, Mega Man. Nice bobs. Yeah, man. All right, bro. Europe. Oh, Europe. Nice. Your rope that you hang yourself with. All right. So let's see. What's going on with Gabriel. Carbo Games. The homie. And we shall call in. Thank you to the new people that are joining the chat. Greatly appreciate you. But yeah, let's try to spit some game about Hagel. Hagel. We'll try to change or divert the conversation. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Let me try to share this screen with you guys. Like 12? Whoa, we got 12 likes already? Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. All right. Yeah, here we are. Y'all see us? Oh, no, that's not. All right, here, hold on. Yeah. What it do?
It's not for them to carry. So, no, I don't look at men to be my guardians, my best friend, or all that unnecessary shit. I look at men to be what they were put here for. Dick and money.
Dick and money, she said.
Oh.
Wow. Damn. With that said, with that intro, dick and money. Let me get my friend.
My nigga.
Oh,
what up, Machine Lines? How's it going, bro?
Yeah, you know we got both. Dick and money. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Yeah, good to see you, man. Yeah. Appreciate you. What do you think about that? This lady's worldview of all men are here for, those two things.
She's obviously delusional out of I don't know. Right? There's multi dimensions, right? You know, some people want power, right? Some people think money makes power, but power makes money, obviously, right? But you shouldn't try to seek it just because of that.
Yeah.
Right? Because power doesn't last forever. Right? The more power you have, the less control you have. Right? It's a dialectic between power and control. Right?
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, and also to segue with the reset the topic, red wine, super ego versus V consciousness, Schelling, Hegel, guilt. The super ego, I define it like as you know that the authority principle of your ego, and keeping you which keeps your primal urges in check per se, and that super ego voice can be in the form of your teachers, your parents. Your government. What do you think about how can we relate that? First of all, what do you think the superego is, and how can we relate it to the situation?
Oh well, you mentioned earlier that there's a tripartite sort of idea with the id, right? And
Yes.
where it's got this whole idea of the pleasure principle, and then the ego, and then self mastery in the moral sense. And I'm trying to relate to like society and whatnot, right? So obviously that relates to a lot of concepts, right? It relates to obviously the tripartite soul and the Trinity, right? That whole concept comes from the from these notions that as Aristotle wrote in the De Anima, right? There's like a plant soul, and then an animal soul, and then a rational soul. So they claim that the rational soul is on top, right? The plant soul, and the mineral soul are kind of on the bottom, right? But sandwiched in between is this interesting thing called the animal soul, which is kind of like this whole idea of the ego or courage, right? And how you use it to relate to others, right? Love of one's own, right? And the irrational defense of one's own. Right, that isn't really, it's not mastered by the moral principle of reason, right? So when Hegel talked about all this, he's sort of saying that, first of all, for Schelling, the whole ground of being represents the unconscious mind, right? So so that represents how ideas come into the frame. But for Hegel, right, it's all about the phenomenology. So nature is in a state of becoming, and mind is sort of like this stable principle that endures throughout nature. And it's a principle called the world spirit, which causes like sort of order to emerge through the chaos, but it also causes more chaos, right? He calls this like sort of like the cunning of reason, right? So it's like this principle that moves through time, right? So they sort of flip this whole idea on its head by introducing time, right?
And Hegel loved history, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, he called he called the spirit of world history. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He also thought the German people were the top of the heap. Right.
Okay.
He writes in Reason and History that the movement of freedom towards its universalization within man was accomplished by the German people through the Protestant Reformation. So he's totally out of whack.
What do you think he's out of whack in saying that is the German people? Wasn't there any people, you think?
Yeah, he's kind of like taken from the idea of national restoration, right? From the Salvation theology of national restoration of the Jays, right? So he's applying this idea of nationalism, and this came about in Europe because of the Jays, right? Because they said there's a difference between a nation and a people and a state. They were some of the first people to make this distinction, right? Because they had to subsist within other nations, right, as a people.
Yes, and you saw that with even in the biblical times or pre-biblical time, like Babylon. They were there, and they were shuffled everywhere else. But yeah, man.
I believe Hegel was influenced by the Kabbalah, right, and also by Hermeticism, right. There's a guy who wrote a book called Hegel and the Hermetic Tradition, right, by Glenn McGee, and he talks about how the Hermetic science and like magic and shit and all this weird shit like kind of influenced Hegel to talk about his futurism, that this utopia would come about in the world, right? Which a process that he called the apotheosis of the state. Right, he thought the state was going to combine with the spirit of world history and take mankind into realizing their freedom. But obviously, that's delusional, right?
Yeah, that sounds like New World Order.
It does. Yeah, it does. It is. I think it is. I think he's one of, like Francis Fukuyama, right? That guy from the CFR, right? Council on Foreign Relations. Right, which there's a huge link between John Foster Dulles and the creation of the CIA and the Council on Foreign Relations, right? And of course he wrote a book on Hegel, right? I mean,
okay.
Yeah, he wrote a book on Hegel and Nietzsche. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are his receipts.
Yeah.
Using those guys' philosophy.
Yeah, they're using it as a map.
A map. Okay. Marilyn says, "What did you say? I'm not a." Matt, I can't. How do you say that?
Misandrist. Yeah. Yeah, that means a man hater. Yeah.
We are in the present to deny that something's wrong. And this hour is mighty hardy. Yeah. There is something to be wrong. Well, with that said, you say it's wrong, but if you zoom out, you think everything's happening for a reason, Marilyn?
I mean, yes, I think the present, like we're in the present time. It's not like to say something is wrong is necessarily having a negative outlook on things, which makes you not right. It's addressing that there is a issue that needs to be rectified, and we need restoration to take place so that in the future we won't have to speak like this, because we are literally making ourselves sin and making each other sin by sinning, because then the other person who didn't sin has to speak on the sin. And it's just like a vicious cycle back and forth. But if we acknowledge something is wrong, and if we acknowledge that something needs to be done in order to give us worth back to ourselves rather than take it from us all the time. We're constantly being told to long suffering is a virtue and to live, really humble lives and all this, sacrificial stuff, when Jesus already died for us. There should be no more sacrifices taking place. There should not be any more suffering, any more bondage. It's just a disease that needs to be rectified. And it's a disease of the mind. It's not a disease of the body or reality or the world around us. It's a disease of the mind.
Yeah. I like that thing. It's like a golden, you're saying kind of like there's a golden age you see coming? Or that's...
I mean, it has to come eventually, because people get tired of what they've already been through. And when you've been through hell so many times, you get bored. I mean, there has to be some sort of...
But what if there was aeons of golden age where people got bored with that, and this is what we're experiencing? Why are we experiencing the duality, and in particular the negative too as well? Do you think that could be something too?
I just don't know. I feel like there's a time for everything under the sun, and eventually it has to come full circle, to where it can't, maybe it's not necessarily a disease per se, like I say. Maybe it is more of a maturing, like, being a child and then becoming, fully mature and knowing, right from wrong and worth. And
we have to learn these things for sure.
Right. Rather than, something that's wrong with us or anything. It's just a maturity that we've come into. I don't know. And I say that because I don't believe in creation or evolution. I believe we always were and always will be. But we somehow got trapped in this lie. So what if we've known for centuries infinity in the past, you know, that we were God, and then all of a sudden we have this imbalance that needs to be rectified. Like, and it never was till not long ago, you know, not but what 8,000 years ago, whenever Adam and Eve were born 6,000-7,000 years ago. So
yeah, so yeah.
Yeah,
we just
absolutely.
need to go back to truth.
Go ahead. Machine,
Yeah,
go
it's
ahead.
like you know, like obviously the whole idea of progress is sold to people to make them like cope with the evil that's in the world. But the fact is that good will win out over evil at the end of the day, right? Because falsehood is just going to wipe itself out, right? So
yeah, it's boring, it's dumb, it's less than, it's not as powerful, it's not as edifying. So many things that don't make it as good.
Right.
Okay, but why is it? Oh, it's I think this is a symptom. Of course, my content, for example, can always be better. But why is it like when we have these cerebral, thoughtful shows, spiritual shows, even one could say, that there's less people here? But if we start fighting with each other, there'd be like 3 times as many people.
Yeah.
I think it's because people are clicking around and they like to see a lot of motion and a lot of talking because it helps them absorb a lot of information quickly. Right. So what they're looking for is stimulation, right? They're not looking for actual content, right? So they're kind of just shuffling through shit. And that's kind of the thing of just spoon feeding yourself content, right? It's like somebody who's sitting there changing channels, right? Was the old model of it.
Yeah.
Right? You know, where they don't really care from channel change to channel change what they're looking at, right? You know, so there's a sort of content plasticity that comes with just, you know, simply just absorbing shit without any qualification, right? Without any, you know, attentiveness to what you're consuming, right? And then like, you know, like if I watch a movie with somebody, we got to pause that shit like every 30 seconds because I'm tripping balls. Like every 30 seconds, I'm like, oh no, look at this shit. Oh, they brought this one out again. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, look at this fucking symbol. Like I'll start tripping.
Yeah. What is that, Marilyn?
Sorry, I didn't realize I didn't
like you're giving a sermon on the mountain up there. That was cool. Yeah. No, but yeah, no. What were you gonna say?
My bad. I was gonna say something too. I didn't realize I wasn't on mute.
Okay, I'll say this though. Like Machine, I'm the same way. Like, especially when I used to like get blasted, I would like always pause it, tell my wife like, "You see here, this is what they mean here. You know, you see here. Oh shit, did you see that? Oh yeah."
So, I had that experience today, and I don't normally have that experience, and I had it today when when Trump said he was a doctor and a Red Cross thing. I didn't realize he was wearing the same outfit as the magician in the tarot card.
Oh.
What? Bro.
Wait, first of all, you said Trump said he was a doctor?
Yeah, he said he was a doctor. He was saving the guy. He was you know, it was to go with the Red Cross, and it was for Red Cross, basically. That you remember that picture of everyone was talking about him being Jesus or looking like he was trying to portray that he was Jesus.
Yes.
Right. He said he was a doctor or whatever. He was a helping, you know, and he wasn't Jesus, and that he was working with Red Cross or whatever. That's why it was red. And that same outfit is literally the magician on the tarot card. That's crazy.
That probably was on purpose and shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Markella? Good to have you. Our Markella's back. Thank you, Markella, for letting us know you're doing good. So she said, if you'd like to donate, yeah, hit me up on the Buy Me Coffee. Appreciate it. Dude, yeah, that's wild though. Who's wearing that? There's a lot of weird shenanigans. My wife showed me a meme where it was that Trump as Jesus. And it's funny, like somebody animated the picture and they like moved the picture and they put him in there was the pit to hell. The pit to hell, and he threw him in the hell. So it was funny. Wearing that. Yeah. All kinds of crazy stuff. But like let's get back to this The super ego. I like this stuff right here. This stuff about the psyche and whatnot.
What were you going to say about your wife?
Was I? Oh, I was saying like when I watched the movie, I would do that. Like when she was talking about, I'd be like, hey, check this out. So it might be kind of hard to watch a movie with me in the past. Because I'd be like, pause it, rewind it. You see this part? Because there was a time when I would watch a movie where I would try to, one, enjoy the movie with entertainment, and then two, try to decode and decode the symbols of it and how it relates to like what's going on with the psyche or whatnot. So I would do that, play that role a lot. Here, let me show you guys this real quick. Thoughts? You can tell me when to pause. You can tell me when to pause it. I feel like
desire and aggression.
Something about the ego of the
id. This is what I've discovered. There is the self we think we are, the self that attempts to deal with the outside world of reality. This self I call the ego. But ego is
I guess he's supposed to be an American version of Freud.
The master of self. For we are constantly bedeviled by powerful unconscious forces in our beings. Before ego developed in us, there was id. Id. Id is all that is primitive and infantile within us. Id is the blind instincts of sexual desire and aggression. Id is opposed by another force that I call superego.
Did you see that lady that we witnessed on that panel had that id going?
Yeah, she had the super id. Yeah.
Super id. Super ego. Super head.
Yeah, exactly.
Punishing and repressing.
What do you say, Marilyn?
Oh, no, I just laughed.
Okay.
An inheritance from the repression of our parents and the restrictions that are part of it. Superego is rigid, punishing, and repressive. An inheritance from the repression of our parents.
That's literally how I was telling the story. Like I dropped my son off to school, and his principal was standing like that, overseeing everything. And it's usually like my son really goes out of his way to say hi to him. Yeah. So that's like some super ego stuff going on right there, huh? Probably right. It's respectful, but then again, it's interesting how, how my son does that. I don't really see anybody else doing that.
And the restrictions that are part of the society we grow up in. So I found there are three distinct elements in our personalities. Ego, who deals with the world of reality, but who is also constantly affected by the demands of id and superego.
So the ego is on the right, and the superego is the guy in the white, and the id is in the red.
Just what do you mean you're not sure, David? Either you've got a firm commitment from Robertson or you haven't. Now, which is it? I happen to be in the position where I've got to know.
GT.
Well, Mr. Cooper, I'm certain he made a commitment. He didn't give anything in writing.
Oh, he didn't give you anything in writing. All those
smash him.
I'll
smash him.
I'll
kill you, Father. You must honor Father.
Yes. And they can send me back firm commitments. Now, don't interrupt me when I'm telling you how.
Your father is a good man, David. Everyone knows that. Honor thy father. Honor thy father.
I think this, for a lot of people, the superego is a lot more dominant, huh? Or at least it expresses itself more, it seems like, right? Would you say?
Yeah, it's kind of like the personality or whatever, you know, right? Where it's like you could see like how they show like the other part of the dude's like basically blind, right? He's like all covered in shit.
You're right.
You know, he's
You're
like
right.
all smeared, you know, whereas this other dude is like, you know, he's really proper, but like something's wrong. Right?
Yes,
like,
he looks off.
He's creepy, yeah.
Very creepy.
So it's like,
If we, oh no, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
But yeah, they're putting like depictions of like how this one dude, he's like really emotive, but he can't really see shit.
Mhm.
It's like blind love and shit.
Well, the other guy can see shit, but like he's very restricted
passive
and
like,
measured.
Yeah, he's like, fuck that. Yeah.
I look at it like, I try to look at it as we are God is benevolent, and we are of benevolence, the image of God. So I would look at it, those two, as one is over loving, that might sacrifice other people or himself, because over loving is going in one direction, and then there's under loving in the other direction. So it's like trying to find this balance.
Yes. I would say Marilyn, at least the way tell me if you agree or disagree. I would say that the red is the overly loving. Because like in order to now it's because he's expressing extreme hate for his father, right? And I feel that if you really hate something, because I feel like if you feel extreme hate for something, that there's probably a lot of love on the other end of that. There's the reason you're able to hate so much because you love it. You love, right? And I'm sure that it could be expressed with extreme love in the form of passion, for example. But then on the other side, I think underloving is the restriction of the superego, very rigid and very stingy and miserly with his love.
See, I look at it differently. I like your perception of it because that's awesome. That's right.
Yeah.
But I look at it the other way too. Like the guy in the white is, trying to give credence to his parents and honor your father and mother, and really like over loves in another direction rather than leave any for yourself. So it's still over loving. It's still not good, but it's putting that focus on other people other than and not giving yourself any. And then the other one is like, I'm turning my back on everyone, and because I need something. I'm lacking and hungry.
Yeah, and I think both of our takes are good because I resonate with you what you said too, and that shows that maybe you're onto something. You're onto something that it's one and the same though, huh?
Yeah,
if they could be
exactly.
flip it like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
still like wrong in either direction though.
Right. I like Machine, and I like Machine. You're taking like actually telling us what we're looking at, like how it's portrayed here, man. It makes it more able to relate to this real experience. Yeah.
Right. They put a lot of they put a lot of grit behind this production, and I like the dude in the suit too that just comes out of nowhere, or is like looks like Alfred Hitchcock or some shit. Right. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he was like I said, the American version of Freud. Because he looks kind of like him, except he doesn't have that German accent.
Yeah, it's like Freud ate like 200 cheeseburgers. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say fried chicken, but yeah, cheeseburgers will work too. Again, the Colonel aspect to it.
Honor thy father.
I hate him. I hate him.
Honor thy father. Honor thy father, or you will be punished.
He stole Mummy away from me. I'm taking your mother away on a holiday, David. I hate him. I'll kill him. Oh, I love him.
Mr. Cooper, I'll go and see Mr. Robertson again. Thank you for letting me explain.
Ooh, you see the animosity? Even though he succumbed to this super ego, like he had that, id was still like, yeah, very angry. Kind of reminds me of at work sometimes where the supervisor will, tell me something and I, at first I want to go like, shut the fuck up, leave me alone. Not you again, right? But then I just put on a fake kind of smile, kind of. But then I walk away like this, kind of something.
David's hate for Mr. Cooper is based on unconscious hate.
And you see, this is good too, because once again, Marilyn, I think it's the same actor in all three modes. This tells you it's all the same. It's all the same. Could be, yeah, anyway.
Hate of his own father, caused by childhood jealousy, by the Oedipus complex. Freud said that without insight into these dark forces, we are doomed
What's
to
up,
play out
Joe?
our
You like this
lives
one?
in an endless dramatization of our childhood relations with our...
Joe, you might want to come up because, like, yeah, my voice is cooked, and I still got to go to work. So, but I want to get through this real quick. So, yeah, you're welcome to come up, Joe. Your take.
Parents.
It's great to be alone with you, Peggy.
In a restaurant?
Well, you know what I mean. Every time I go to your place, there's your roommate. Doesn't she ever go out?
Sometimes.
Yeah, because in the end, we're talking about male-female social dynamics. If you do want to get intimate, it's a lot of it has to do with being in a safe, comfortable, having privacy where you can do that, right? So
that's a nice dress, Peggy.
Thank you, David.
I want more, more.
It's imperious.
I want.
David, little gentleman, don't stare at ladies. You know better than that. Honor thy mother. Honor thy mother.
Would you like something to eat?
No, thanks. I've already eaten.
I want.
Marilyn, throughout your life and stuff, has there been experiences where sometimes you like the person you wish they were a little bit more aggressive or took more initiative in terms of like romantic things? I'm not trying to be crass or anything, but you know what I mean? Where maybe it's kind of frustrating because they're too reserved.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, but I try not to pick those type of men.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can get frustrated for sure. Yeah.
Which on the other end, it could be also frustrating when someone's going too fast too.
Yeah.
Depending if you like them or not, really. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's harder for me because I'm very bold. Like
I'm
not very shy at all.
Yeah.
So you gotta be strong, I think. Sometimes.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, no woman likes a weak man, but
right.
I feel like we are conditioned that way though. Like I don't feel like men can really be their true, genuine, special, loving, caring selves because of how the system portrays men and what is masculine and what isn't masculine. So
Right. And then in doing so it's like all or nothing. These men, like for us men, like we go overboard or too little because we don't know how to gauge ourselves sometimes. Yeah, that's facts. That's facts.
Same for women too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it does go both ways for sure.
Yeah.
David, baby, put your head on Mommy's breast. I want warm.
It's kind of boring here, isn't it?
Where else could we go, David?
I don't know. Do you have any ideas?
Well, we could go back to my place.
I want warm.
Warm.
Honor thy mother. Honor thy mother.
And we can go to the hot tub.
David?
Is that what men really think? Honor thy mother?
No, I think that's well.
I think that's weird. Like they're actually conflating that with another like line. So it's kind of strange, but also like the whole psychosexual thing is very perverted, right? Because when you get down to it, Freud actually, I think he there's allegations he started having sex with his sister-in-law.
Oh,
Minna Bernays, right? So all this sort of incestuous stuff in his writings is kind of creepy and weird because why would you be thinking about your mom if you're on a date? It just doesn't make a lot of fucking sense for sure. All right. So I don't know. You know what I mean, right?
Maybe at the core that's what it is, but like it is because that's your first teacher, your first expression of womanliness, right?
Yeah, but in the last one, right, the ego was trying to take the mom away from the dad. And it's like,
I heard that too.
It's like, yeah, I'll take her on a trip, motherfucker. Like, it's like, what the? It's like, so that's kind of creepy and weird because it's like, he actually said that, that, daughters fall in love with their father, with the image of their father, and then, sons fall in love with the image of their mother, and then actually and you see this shit actually spouted by, like internet actors like the Thorpes and whatnot, right? So
yeah, definitely with them. And also too, we saw yesterday. I'll show this after what you're talking about. I don't know if you know John Zerka, the influencer, and Clavicular.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Like, well, they had a recent meetup, and Clavicular had his young girlfriend with him. I mean, because he's young, he's only 20 and she's 18. And John Zerka was being really creepy with this Freudian concept about how, like, women, when it comes down to it, they just want a daddy, right? And I get what he's saying.
I think he's like into Freemasonry because he talks a lot about Freemasonry on the shit, and he gets weird and creepy with it. Like he starts saying like, "Oh no, they have the knowledge and shit," but it's like, bro, like I don't really think you want to actually stand on the shit that they represent, but like. He starts getting real weird with it. All right. I don't know.
He loves all the esoteric stuff and the masonry and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes I have nobody in the world that agrees with me except for Hostile Hyperborean. So, but that aside,
like I really don't think it's as complicated as they act like it's, this just like recipes that they have that no one else has over the centuries that they've known. I'm sure God would make it pretty basic. I'm sure it would be the knowledge of, all the plants and which ones are poisonous or which ones are going to heal you, which ones mixed together and all this stuff, all the herbs and stuff. That would be a very main thing that they probably have knowledge that we don't, a real big blueprint level, and then, or maybe they give it to us and they don't make it as so it's important to us by their standards, so we don't, acknowledge it as important. Maybe they have to give us all the information, we already know it. Also, the stars. The stars are a big thing. If you can read the stars and know how important they are in the scheme of things, they're a clock, they can tell the future, they can, there's a lot of things in the stars. So if you can read the stars and the plans, that is probably the majority of the occult information that they have that they won't give us. I feel like science is for poor people.
Yeah. For sure, you're right. It's a cheap, it's the Temu version of what's going on, what's really going on. Yeah, I know William Blake, I'm paraphrasing one of his quotes, is something like, "Until you as a man or human, but as a man, know that the stars above your head are actually inside of you." Meaning like knowledge of astrology, for example. Until you know that. Like you're going to be a beast. You're going to be a beast, basically, and be at the whims of astrology. You won't, because once you know that the astrology, you realize that there's something beyond that even. But until you realize that fact, the stars are you're going to be their master in a sense. You're going to be swayed by it too much. So, but then you, like you said, if you put in the knowledge of plants and the healing, that's a whole nother level too. You can't lose.
It's your mind and body. It's your mind and spirit. The stars are your spirit, and the herbs and stuff of the land are your flesh, and that is how you balance thing.
Speaking of balance and lack of balance, this is from the stream 2 days ago. Clavicular and his girlfriend were listen to this daddy dynamic. What Zerka's spitting. Zerka's the guy on the right. Clavicular's the Maxer in the middle, and then there's Lily, Clavicular's new girlfriend.
Did you hear about that?
Women are much.
No.
What's that?
Did you hear about that guy that came out that was friends with that girl and knew that girl and said that she was a total slut and she had chlamydia and that his new girlfriend and that she slept with like 18 dudes and she's only just 18 and that she slept with his friend and his friend's friend and she just passed around and all of this stuff was coming out about her. That she's
about Lily?
His new girlfriend, yeah.
Damn.
Real bad.
Wow. Well, that's kind of disturbing because she's so young, but it doesn't surprise me about how people can be like that even being young, right? But she seems that's a red flag, but she seems to like him. I guess people can change, but that's definitely something to keep in mind. That's the type of person you want to have a relationship with.
I just don't see how she could be pregnant 10 days after knowing him, and then him taking all the.
That wouldn't be from him.
Right. 10 days. Come
10
on.
days is not enough, I don't think, right?
It's not.
I mean, to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need at least like I don't know, 2 or 3 or 4 weeks.
Honestly, I did not know I was pregnant until I was almost 3 months pregnant, like 9 months. I did not know.
Oh yeah, you're far along.
Super sick. Yeah, I was like, yeah. So I don't. 10 days. It just seems ridiculous.
It does seem ridiculous.
And as much steroids as he takes, like, how is he not sterile? Like, how? Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just weird. Yeah. As much drugs as he does, like, it's just maybe.
I think they got really advanced with the testosterone therapy or whatever, right? Where it doesn't have the same type of side effects that it used to, or something like that. But
yeah. And plus, he's young too, so he may still have some high levels of his sperm or whatever. But yeah, it is kind of strange. I would not want to do that, especially long term.
Yeah, they say probably long-term effects are not well known of people supplementing with that shit, obviously.
And he's doing all these weird shit too, with peptides and all that stuff. Yeah, but yeah, so this is John Zerka, the quasi-Mason, his daddy theory. Thank you, Lizard Tree, for that advice. I think I'm going to do that.
I would. Chicks like older guys. It's so disgusting.
Well,
they can fuck up
for money.
No. They can like dad energy, bro. If you become a bitch's dad,
when she said that, she looked so awkward, freaked out. When he said that, she started petting her hair, which could be a nervous tick, kind of.
Make the same jokes that hurt.
And then I think Clavicular picked up on it, and he's gonna try to comfort her.
Dad made, if you enter the father archetype, she will start seeing have you seen that guy in Walmart? The fat guy in Walmart with a hot wife? No. Everyone sees that guy. One in the chat, if you've seen a slob with a babe of a wife and you sit at Walmart, you're like, why am I sitting at Walmart? And you're like, what the fuck is going on? How did he get her? If you ever see that, and I'm not saying this is normal, this is rare, but when you see that, what you're seeing is
he's on crack most of the time.
He does coke all the time.
Yeah, and also he's got fake teeth or some shit. It looks like
veneers.
Some type of fake teeth. Yeah,
he does.
A totally weird look on this dude for sure.
Guess how old he is?
Probably 40 or some shit.
He's 32.
Yeah,
looks pretty old, huh?
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you do a lot of coke or whatever. I know meth will fuck up your teeth, but I wouldn't think coke he loves to brag about how much coke he does.
His female nature is daddy-daughter. It's only daddy-daughter.
I don't think so. That's was that Freudian? Well, Freudian's something about.
Yeah, they're definitely getting it from something like that. But you know, I think just the general shit, like even with the Jung, like you know, like you gotta accept like your feminine side and shit. So there's all this type of homo shit.
Anima.
Yeah, so like it's kind of weird for real. And then you look into how they're talking and stuff, and yeah, I think. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. It's still creating an imbalance in reality. It's like you have to go that far into thinking about your feminine qualities rather than saying, okay, there's a mother dynamic, there's a son dynamic, and there's a daughter dynamic, there's a brother dynamic, there's a sister dynamic. You know, there are these dynamics and there are reality, and like you don't have to think that far into it to say that if he's not your father and he is someone that your partner, you know, that God picked out for you, then they are separate entities. You should not be comparing the father to the husband. That is creating confusion, and God is not of confusion. We already know what the separation and difference is. We did it. We belong to our husband when we are married off, and our father protects us until then. But just because they protect us, just because men continue to protect us doesn't mean that they're our fathers. It should never be that type of dynamic.
Yeah, that'd be like if a police officer helped you from a mugger as a woman, that you're gonna look to him as your father as a woman. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's like definitely the archetypes. We're talking about Jung there, but father's a father, husband's a husband. I like it. And as it is, the more the more we keep cutting things up, the more confusing it can be. Well, what's the reason we cut things up, though? I guess is we feel like we always gotta. It's like a principle of like we always gotta make things simpler and more understandable, and like there's never enough, which actually creates more confusion. I think Avian Buddha brought that up the other day on Twilights, or I don't know where it was, but Machine. I think some of your work deals with that, right? In terms of technology, the more we want to make things easier, the more trouble we end up making, right? Things seems like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. He said, you know, I mean, he said it like 100 times, right? That it tries to solve the very problems it creates, right? It's talking about technical complexity.
So when you get to certain levels, when you get to certain like levels of judging stuff, other things don't matter anymore. Other things don't matter anymore like they did when you were you know, in a different situation. So like there are levels to it. There's levels to it.
Yeah, you're right, Marilyn. I even see it here, like where things that I used to feel like I had to defend myself doesn't matter as much as it used to. Doesn't matter as much as it used to, like, you know, because we're on higher levels or different.
Right.
Right. It's all daddy-daughter, all of it. This looks like dad and daughter right now. Right.
I mean, it could. Like, I've seen. Well, you have a dad. You have a dad. I have my wife has a dad. Like, you know, so I could see how a dad would comfort his daughter, and it could look like this. But a husband can also do that too, right? A brother could do that for a sister, even too.
If Clav was shorter than her, this would look fucking ugly as fuck. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
He changes the goalpost right there because he's getting weird.
Makes it sound a little weird.
See, I'm glad Clavicular says something about that. It's kind of weird.
This would look fucking ugly as fuck. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It just makes it sound a little weird. I get what you're saying.
It's a little Freudian. I get that, but I want to punch that in your head because I'm saying.
I mean, he's right, but like it just sounds.
Clive, you're literally her
He wants
dad.
to imprint him because he knows that Clavicular is a big influencer, and a
Yeah,
lot of these
he
men.
also said he's right. So see, this is the thing with these influencers, like they have to kind of sign on when somebody says some crazy shit to a
Yes.
certain extent, because they're like
Yeah.
getting paid to be there and whatnot. So this is the
Mhm.
unfortunate part of the situation as well.
You can't be just be like, nah, you're bullshit. Like somebody would sit on your show because obviously I don't think Clavicular agrees with a lot of what he's saying, but yeah, I guess at least the smart ones can pick it out.
Now, you gave her a place to stay. You told her to get the groceries today, and she failed miserably. What else? You're literally her dad. If you didn't have this place and you were standing outside a nightclub talking this,
You're literally her dad just because you're acting like a boyfriend.
bro, she would be blue balls. You would have the biggest blue ball. You punch her in the face. You'd be like, what the fuck are you playing games? But when you have the house, you turn into the father archetype. Now she's wet.
Yeah.
And so what is that? The chick needs a nest. Clav doesn't need it. You know, if she's homeless and hot, Clav will still.
Right.
Clav doesn't need a nest. Women, so I know it sounds a little evil, but women are extremely materialistic. If you put a roof over their head,
Really?
they start.
Wait.
They start, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
If you get an old woman out there to say, oh, Mr. Senor Zerka, come into my mansion, you can have the keys. I'll say, you're ugly, fat, like Consuelo, I don't want to chill with you. If an old, saggy dude with $1 billion went up to your girl, oh, she's tempted. She's nothing like me. Men and women are very tempted by different things, bro.
No, because
Now, wouldn't you say though, like if because they live in Miami, that there's probably has been a very wealthy, old, disgusting man that's trying to make his move with her. Obviously, she didn't go with him tonight because she's with him. Rushada Buddha and I were talking about this in the sense that, like, in a perfect world, I would think a younger woman would want to be with someone around her age, not like a super old dude, even if he had money. You know, unless that younger woman valued money and stability, you know, more so than like true like a love, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of cope to think that, like, you know, like that, like you could buy any women, like, you know, like I heard like you know, Neurojack talking about some ladies that were like basically trained, you know, like if they were captured by the enemy, right, that they would you know, sleep with the men and then kill them by night.
Whoa.
You know, so they like totally embed themselves in the, you know, just to get one last kill in.
Damn. Yeah. That's dedication.
Oh yeah.
That's good. That's what do you say?
That's a good dedication. Way to go.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about that, Marilyn, in terms of like that when younger, I mean, like a woman, especially when you're in your early 20s, like with in all reality, most likely want a guy her age, a peer guy her age, or does that not matter? You said yeah. Okay.
No. What do you mean?
Like if she had to choose of a guy that's around her age, like if she's 18 or she would want to be a guy for me that's around early 20s, rather than a guy that's in his 30s or 40s or older.
I can't be the judge of that. It depends on the woman. If she's mature in her mind, you know, it really depends. Because I've always been attracted to older men. Like my son's father, we met when I was 21, and I thought he was in his late 20s, but he was like pushing 40. So, like, I've always liked older men. Just, I just had a really good dad, and I guess my parents have a big difference too in their age. My dad's a lot older, but I just find comfort in responsible men that are, you know, secure and safe and grounded and foundational. And I think every woman would find a man that even if he's not, even if he's young, as long as in his mind he's grounded, you know, it doesn't really matter the age.
Okay, that's
It
cool.
really doesn't.
And I agree with you when you said like it depends on the woman, because I was like before I met my wife, I remember this one time I was at this club I used to go to called Temple in San Francisco, and it was like this cool club, and it looked like a Buddhist temple, and I most of the time, all the times I went there, I don't think I met too many women there. I would just go there and dance and shit, and then talk shit with my friends. But this one time, I remember this Indian young lady was like with her friends, and she looked pretty young. And this is a 21 and over club, and like I was dancing, and then she was kind of forward. She was like, "Hey," and it was just me and her started dancing, and she really liked me, and I could tell she really liked me. So I was like, "Hey, you wanna, you know, maybe like, you know, in maybe next week or something, we can meet up and you know have some, like lunch or something." And she's like, "Yeah, I would love it. You're awesome." Blah 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 blah. Right. And then and mind you, I was 32, I think, at the time, and I didn't know how old she was, but so I later on in the week, I call her just to set logistics up for a meetup, and we get to talk, and I go, "By the way, how old are you?" And she goes, 22. And I go, "Oh, cool." And then she goes, "How old are you?" I said, 32. And then and everything just changed from that moment, where she was like very, you know, excited and all this stuff, and then like. And I could sense something was wrong. I'm like, "Is that everything good?" And she's like, "Nah, you're just a little too old for me." And then and then ended up not going out. So I thought that was interesting. So I don't know how her dynamic was with her, because until I said my age, everything was cool, you know. Shadow Buddha says, "No, it doesn't matter. Most 20-year-old women do not have genuine desire for 40-year-old men. Dudes, if they have the choice, they don't want to Ashton Kutcher type around her age that has money and status."
If they have a choice, no.
Yeah.
No.
He said,
No. When I was younger, like my top 5 was like freaking Garth Brooks, Anthony Hopkins, Russell Crowe, like all these dudes ever. Like, and I was young. I mean, maybe not when I was really, really young. I liked, you know, regular 20-year-old dudes. But when I got to like 16, 17, 18, I'm like, I would not think that younger dudes were, I don't know, they're just too immature for me.
So you're saying that when you were 16 and 17, whatever, that's when you really liked the older guys, but then you said, but when you got to
when I was younger.
So when you were like in your like mid-20s or whatever, you could give the younger guys around your age a chance more?
No, nope, not really. Not really. I mean, they're nice and all, but I just don't. I've never, like, I don't like that immaturity. I don't like the inexperience. I never have. I just never been that way. Never been that way. But like when I was like 12 or something, yeah, I'll like a Backstreet Boy and think he was the greatest thing ever. But when I'm
they're not your age though.
Right, it's still, yeah. But when I'm at like dating ages, no way. I would never go for a younger guy. Too much of a liability.
Okay, so we were saying like he's an Ashton Kutcher or curricular in this sense where he has the money of a you know, a lot of money already, and he's young, and he seems to be pretty mature. The most younger guys his age, but still, with that said, he still does something about the older guys, huh?
Yeah, I've
Okay.
always been that way. But there's not a lot of women like that. I'm not saying I'm right. Like the women that go for their age is probably more, more appropriate because you can grow up together. You are interested in the same stuff. You
Yeah.
haven't gone
So,
through the same timeline.
well, you said like there's not that many women. Well, you found another woman in the chat that disagrees with you, another unicorn, and that's Lizard Tree says she always dated older too.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah, I've never had
and
a
that's-
problem, finding women, my age that find me attractive, probably just because of rugged good looks. But it's been, yeah, like I've always, talked to, women that are the same age as me, usually. But yeah,
yeah. Why is that? Do you have a preference though? Older, younger, same age? What? Or does it matter just the person?
Probably older women if I could pick.
Really? Interesting.
Oh my.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah,
I think for me, I've always been the same or younger.
Yeah, that's always been. Yeah, I'm like kind of like weird like that. I don't know, but
Yeah. Yeah. But that's good that you share that. And also too, Marilyn, when I ask you questions like that, the reason I always know that this is your opinion. And then part of me too is like, I also, because we were talking about and women, we finally have a woman up here too, even though a man's perspective is good too. And when I ask you a question like that, it's like, I also would like, I'm always curious to think your how you see other girls in general. Because you hang around probably more girls than I have, so that's why when I asked you that, like what do you think? Like in majority of girls, then you just kind of answered my question when you said like you may be a little different than most. So okay, yeah.
I definitely don't think like most girls. So I can't really give an opinion on it.
Well, yeah, you can. That's what I'm telling you. That like, look outside yourself in a sense, like what you witness with other girls, if you're able to do that. You know what I mean? Just like me, like I might have some weird fetish or some weird way of looking at things, but I can also observe other men around my peers, how they, in general, how they, may think. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, regular girls, like regular men their age, I still feel like there might be a leaning to older men for women, but probably healthy women would probably go with their age bracket.
Their age group, yeah. You said healthy, I like that.
I was just saying, they don't need as much support.
Yeah. Chad Buddha says, that's you, Marilyn. Like Jack Talcott. That's you, Marilyn. That's you. He said, most men and women date around their age. The 25-year-old women who are dating the 40-year-old men are as sugar babies because those men accumulate the money and status by that age. Interesting. Who's this? Still on Linux? I definitely had a subconscious cougar area via the programming looking back. Interesting, Soul. Good to have you. I meant to say like the last couple of times. I'm glad to see you again, bro. Markella says, she said, well, Seymour says, CM says we can't logically speak to women. Okay. So CM is a classic CM. Love it. Markella says, my last husband and I was 5 years older than him. Oh, wow. My husband now is 5 years older than you. Oh, so you've seen both ways. You had it both ways. I see.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm not talking about like old geezers, but like 2 or 3 years older. Usually, I would prefer like somebody.
Yeah.
Like.
Wow.
Yeah, I got
wild.
Yeah. Interesting. My wife's a year younger than me. My wife's about a year younger than me. Hey, what's up, Set Scales?
And I'm wondering how. Oh, hey, sorry. Hi.
Hey, hi. Nice to meet you. My name's Gabriel.
Yeah, I know you. I've talked to you. You commented on my channel before.
Oh, this Dominic?
Yeah, this is Dom. Yeah, he's cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Let's make sure.
Yeah.
Good to have you, bro. Yeah, I like your work a lot, Dominic. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm live on the Machine Live, so he probably saw us. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good to have you. Yeah. It's funny. I'm actually gonna in the next couple of minutes. I'm gonna shut it down because I think I'm gonna try to rest a little bit, take care of some stuff because still I need to go to work. But yeah. Any takes on this, what you've heard on the superego, dating, women, men, guilt, Hegel, anything? What's on your mind? Set scales.
Well, I saw the title, and I definitely think that when it comes to the ego, I think that the problem is a lack of balance between the id and the superego.
So you're not saying that you need to do away with one or the other if you were able to. You're saying we need more balance, huh? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because essentially, when someone's ego has taken over, they're kind of stuck between the superego and the id, in the sense that the superego essentially represents the principles of civilization, and the id represents what humans were before civilization. And so people's egos, because they're not balancing their primal instincts with their the moral codes of civilization in a healthy way, they essentially latch on to identities based in the material world, almost always revolving around their job or revolving around politics or their race. And because they lack the balance, they seek to these external things to fill the void that the ego is failing. Because they associate these things with survival.
Yeah. Dominic, that was a great take, man. I like how you made it very simple for me, which it's a good thing. Like how you said that the id is more of the pre-civilization and the superego is the civilization. Now, can you give an example of a way we can ground ourselves with the id in a positive way?
Well, it ultimately comes down to recognizing what life is all about, and life is just all about self-expression and being within the objective world that it is. So, because so many restrictions impose on that in civilization in the form of laws, people they forget that really everyone owns themselves, and that's the most basic natural principle. So I'd say that's where balance comes, and respect is in recognizing you own yourself and everyone else does as well. And this is just the most basic natural principle there is. Well, it's actually the basis for principles, I should say.
Yeah. And not acknowledging that, or it can get us into trouble. You think you can get into trouble with the super ego, or what you mentioned about over identifying with your job or your gender or your race, for example?
Yeah. And when I say that the id represents before civilization, I say that is because the id is what they say is basically our most primal instincts geared around survival. So basically there to ensure that we do what is necessary to continue existing, such as eating or evading danger or even reproducing. And the superego, it used to be guided by natural forces, but now with civilization, you got people telling you to conform to their standards so you can be their model citizen, basically.
Yeah.
There's a lot of confusion in people's minds because what they're being told how to be the model citizen does not actually align with what is naturally good.
I think you're right, but I also I don't feel like that the ego is necessarily a bad thing. Like I honestly feel like the ego and pride are gifts from God. That if it doesn't infringe on you and it just is about that person and what they've got going on, you shouldn't feel triggered by their ego or their pride because it has nothing to do with you unless they're putting you under some sort of restriction or slavery. Of course, then pride and ego is a bad thing, but I feel like it's still a gift from God and it's not something to disavow or anything. We should walk in power and authority as the image of God and not have someone telling us that we're anything less than anyone else here.
But absolutely, and I don't think the ego is a bad thing. I just think it's a bad thing when the ego is what's taken over someone's actions.
True. Sure.
And I'd say that comes from the imbalance I was talking about.
Yep. Absolutely.
Would you say the ego taking over? An example of this would be when somebody tries to flex too hard about like the school they went to, or they have this much money, and or I have this. Oh yeah, I'll keep it. I'll stop there. Or I have this much knowledge.
I mean, yeah, both of those things, and even to an extent, knowledge, all those things are based in materialism or empiricism, and ultimately that means they're fleeting.
Yeah. What is not fleeting in this world, if anything?
The principle of self-ownership and self-responsibility. Even when you're a baby and you are an old person incapable of taking care of yourself, there are still things that no one has a legitimate claim to do to you. Like, for example, you can't just assault old people because they're a burden. That would make you a terrible person. And that would also bring about negative karma because everyone else would recognize that you're a bad person. Right. So just because you're an old person who can't take care of themselves doesn't mean that people can do whatever they want to you. Because you own yourself.
Yeah. And it's tragic that there are people doing that as we speak here. Tell the old folks and youngsters in daycares and convalescent homes. There's they will be checked though. They will be checked because karma is cause and effect, right?
Yeah.
Well, the first shall be last, and the last shall be first.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna do a total flip. These people that are self-righteous and virtue signaling, and everyone's serving an idol. They're either serving the idol of God and misrepresenting God and the Son, and not becoming one with the Father, or they're serving a death cult, and they're preparing to die. So they're either going down two lanes. They're either idol worshiping, or they're serving a death cult, or they're doing both. No one is really taking a responsibility and accountability for being in the image of God and saying, hey, the Bible said death is an enemy. It's the last enemy to be destroyed. Like, we are the image of God. There's no, we are made for a purpose, a perfect design. We were never intended to die. We're no longer under the curse because of Jesus, but everyone still is turning to Jewish, idols and Jewish laws and saying they're Christians rather than, the kingdom of God is within, and kingdom of God.
I don't know
is
what
not
I
in
just
words,
walked
but
into,
in
but
power.
this is a very interesting perspective.
Oh, what she just said, yeah. Dominic, can you say your channel so our mods can promote it in the chat? Said Scales. Maybe he stepped away. Do you know his channel's name? The Machine Lies and Neurojack?
I don't.
Yeah, I'll try to share it.
Oh, thanks, Machine. Appreciate it. I like his channel a lot. I told you I'm so like I can't even name it.
Well,
I know that's I have it on my
I didn't know
queue.
he streamed. I didn't actually know he streamed. So.
It's pretty good. The couple of videos I listened to already, I like it. It's like I mean, all you guys are doing great. What did I just see that sparked my interest right here? There's some nice spicy stuff going on in the chat right now. Let me see. Spicy caliente. Oh yeah, CM said women won't say the truth. Men naturally and biologically go younger, and it accepts women. And then Maryland said different strokes for different folks. Then CM kind of unpacked what he said. He said, because women's fertility is the unspoken truth that we don't talk about. In women, we will never admit how younger women fertility bothers older women. Well,
women are very competitive. Period. I think just like the denial of that is just not honest. You know, like women are just point blank competitive.
Because of this system, like I was telling him in chat, like there are men that are done having kids who have divorced because they're younger women or whatever have, that just didn't work out, different timelines, different ages, eras. And then they want someone to settle down with and they don't want to have any more kids. So there are women out there that don't want to have any more kids or can't anymore either. It's not just every man going after 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds. It's not what's happening, but
it's not the majority for sure. Like it's not a majority.
Right.
Like most men I know do not.
Even though most women would want that.
But there's insecure incels on the internet discouraging women, saying they're unwanted and they won't be loved by somebody. It's ridiculous.
That's why they're incels.
Right.
Well, just go ahead. Just because what you?
Yeah, just because you're at the state in your life where that's what you're after doesn't mean that there will be a time when that could happen to you, just because you've said that and spoke it upon. Like that could happen to you when you're at that age, when that happens to you, when you get the young girl that you're talking about, and then one day that same thing happens and you get a divorce and then you don't want any more kids. And then are you going to go after the 20-year-old still? I mean, I don't think every man is doing that. Who wants to deal with that sort of BS from a younger woman?
They don't want to have kids?
No, it's not about kids. If they don't want kids anymore, if they've had kids already, and when those younger women they don't know what they want. They're irresponsible, unreliable. They can't cook. They can't clean. They just want money from you. They're just a liability.
That sounds like older women and younger women. Like sometimes, not all of them, any of them.
Right,
I would say that Marilyn would admit this though. Like even if there's exceptions to what she's saying, they kind of prove the general rule, and I think that works for a lot of the generalizations. Like, look, I generalize a lot, and people don't like it, but sometimes like I'm just generalizing to get a general gist of the situation. Like, like I think about it too. Like if I were a single guy, now like would I want to date someone who's like half my age or even 10 years younger? Like in some ways, yes. In some ways, no. Like it's a different stage in life. A lot of older women I know love younger guys, right? And nobody talks about that.
Why are they doing that? That's ridiculous. Like why are they wanting
a lot of women I know who are 50 years old, they're looking for the 25-year-old guy. They're 40 years old looking for a 20-year-old guy.
But it's ruining young men's lives. If they can't have children anymore and they're like in their late 40s, going on 50, and they're looking for younger men, they're ruining that man's life because he could have children with a younger man. They should not be going after these.
It happened to one of my best friends.
It happened to my brother, my favorite brother. It happened to.
Well, I mean,
one of my
like,
best friends
go
happened.
ahead, Neil Jack. Go ahead.
Really briefly, I just say this:
I'll
like
go.
he was dating someone 15 years older. She's now 50. She has 2 kids from a previous marriage, and she told him, "You don't want kids; they're really terrible." And that's easy for her to say after she's already had hers, right? So, yeah.
Right.
Well, that's. I mean, to be honest, that's not cool with her to do that, but that's also him. He's just like Tom was saying, we're responsible for our own
He
thing.
won't even discuss it because he's scared to piss her off. That's
no,
well, that's
it's
it's
super
not.
ego right there.
It's
That's
not
super
his
ego.
fault. You cannot. I'm sorry.
Yes,
You
it
can't blame
is.
him. No, you can't blame him.
I mean,
You can't.
I don't say
You
fault.
can't.
Listen to this. I don't blame people really anymore. That's for I could be rude and be
No.
like, listen, that could be
No.
women. Hold on.
She
That could be for
should've-
hold on for a second, please. Respectfully, I wouldn't blame him, but I'm saying he's responsible for that, though. He's responsible for his, his feelings and the way he acts. So, I don't blame anymore. I don't really do that anymore.
No.
What do you mean? You disagree with Dom and said it was based on like the number one rule? I'm paraphrasing Dom. In the universe is to take accountability, basically, for yourself. So
and she is an older woman. She's older than him. She has had more experience, and she knows that she's either doesn't want to have any more kids or she's infertile, and she should have said, "I'm sorry, no, I'm not going to take that youth away from you." And that away, I'm not like go for a different guy.
Well,
like,
yeah,
she
she's
should
wrong.
not-
Didn't you hear me what I said? I said she's wrong for that, and like he's wrong also for not stepping up and take. See,
No,
take
because
it.
when
No,
a
I get
man
it.
looks at a woman, he doesn't necessarily know off that if she can have kids or not. It takes a little while to find that out.
You're telling me
not
that.
like he knows
listen, hold
going
on.
into it.
Hold on. I know that. I've talked about that. My wife and I, we've gone through that. Like, I didn't. Well, she knew, but like, so I know how that is. However, with that said, he's a human. He's a man. In the end, he has to take responsibility, and I get it. No disrespect to your brother. It seemed like he got shafted too in that situation. But like in the end, he's still a human that has to take accountability. I mean, we can like coddle them and whatever, which is great.
Well, yeah, he's almost 38 years old now.
But here's the thing, like,
you gotta
like I said, like that woman's wrong, but the guy still has autonomy, and it sucks that he didn't learn.
And he's wrong too, but however, but she's
I'm
more
not blaming
wrong.
people.
So
Okay, she's more wrong.
She's more wrong. So she should be taking the initiative to fix the problem, not him, even though they're both wrong.
But really quick, let me ask you a question. If a guy who's 40,
sorry, Sam, I didn't see that,
dates a 20-year-old girl, and they get pregnant, they have 3 kids, and then she hits 30, and she's like, you know what? I didn't get to sleep around. I want to go have my fun. Is that the man's fault or the woman's fault?
Wait, say that again.
No one. What's the fault there?
I can answer it.
Well, everybody was silent.
Say
I
it
don't know if
again,
everybody
please.
can hear me or not, so maybe I need to reset myself.
We'll say it again. Do you know what he said?
I heard him. He said, basically, if a woman has children when she's 20, and then when she hits 30, she decides she wants to sleep around with younger guys, whose fault is that? The 40-year-old guy she married, or her fault? And I was like, where's the fault? That's what I asked, is where's the fault?
Like I said, it's her fault. It's her fault because she shouldn't be sleeping around with other men, younger men.
Well,
now
if she's married,
now she has to date older men that don't want kids anymore, and that's the dude she should be doing all that crap with, not younger men and taking their youth away from
well,
them.
people, wait, hold on. People are adults, and if they have a thing, like depending on what they want in life, they say like this is just a hookup. That's on them. And here's the thing too, like Shadow Buddha said this story about him, like he's on whatever. Like he's in his mid 30s or whatever, and he said a lot of the women he's gotten on dating apps because I think he wants children someday, right? But a lot of the women he said he's come across older women that he's matched with, even though they had children, he doesn't want. He said most 70% of them don't want even to have new children if they were to get married to somebody, which is like, that's kind of interesting. It's like, wow, that in one sense, the woman wants to have a long-term relationship or even get married, and yet she doesn't even want to consider the option of maybe the guy I'm with wants to have his own children with her. You know, so I think that's interesting, and that's her choice too. But he's told me this is a thing that he's come up across many times.
I wouldn't blame that on her. I wouldn't blame that on her when I would blame everything.
I don't blame.
else on
Well,
her.
you keep saying blame. Like I don't care. Like
I
me
would
personally,
blame that. I would blame that on the system.
I don't know
Because
about you
every
guys.
woman
Like,
wants to have kids.
do you guys really care about blaming people? Like we're adults. Like blame, does that really help us?
Yeah.
Blaming people
I mean-
things instead of just being like, this is the way it
I
is.
think everybody has 50-50 responsibility to a certain level.
It sounds like immature shit. Like
No,
no disrespect,
it's
but like
not.
to blame
It's
somebody for
not.
something.
It's not, because if you can point to the wound and the error and where it's coming from and start to heal it from there and saying, this is wrong, what you are doing is wrong, we're placing blame on this rather than sugarcoating and coddling and giving all those rewards and credence to people that do wrong, and they get all the
I don't
rewards
do
and
that.
benefit.
I'm
and
not
the
saying
people,
that.
no, but that's how the world works. All the people that are rotten
Well,
and
they're
evil
dumb. They're not
and scummy,
like us.
they get rewarded, and the people that are genuine and good-hearted people never get the credit or the accolades. Like, you should be a huge channel. You are so sincere and dear.
Welcome to Christianity. And
Hold
welcome
on.
to the world.
Hold on. She's glazed. I like this. Go ahead, Marilyn. What'd you say about the channel? Sorry, Daryl.
You're just fire, and you don't get the thanks you get in the algorithm because you don't get rewarded for being good in this system.
But
it is the
okay.
system. You can't blame
I got
the
you.
woman or the
I got
man.
you. But okay, but how about this?
Wait,
Hold on, CM. Hold on. The only blame I'll do in that example is I'll blame myself, because you're right. This should be big. That just tells me I know I need to learn how to work the system. I need to learn how to work the system.
What she's telling Gabriel is be an asshole to everybody, screw them over, and you'll be successful too. No,
absolutely not.
No. But you know what I mean, though? I think there is. Maybe I'm an optimist. I think there's a way to be somewhat successful and also be genuine a little, So that's what I need to do, though. That's what I'll blame myself for not executing it. But I don't even blame, though. That's not in my consciousness. But go ahead, CM.
Well, I mean, this is very like she was saying, like, who is the system in favor of? Like,
right?
They're in favor of women, like of all colors and races.
Are you crazy?
Well, that's what we call a gynocentric system. Female center.
Wait, does CM saying that it does favor them or not? I didn't understand.
It favors them.
He said it does.
Oh, fuck yeah, it does. It's a gynocracy in a lot of ways, for sure. I mean, not 100%, but
A
a lot more than people.
Or you would think gynocentric.
Well, it's really the hidden power of female competitiveness that is ignored. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's hidden on purpose. Yeah.
It's not talked about. It's just showed through action. But what's talked about is the man getting all the accolades, the man being the patriarchy, the woman submitting to the man being the God, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and there being no woman in any sight. And what we can see visually with our eyes, what is told to us. But what is hidden is the men serve the women.
It's not that we serve the women; we protect the women from their own asses.
Clever women don't care if men rule. As long as the men serve the women. As long as the men are listening to the women, as long as the men are taking all the advice from the woman, that's when she'll let the man be empowered. As long as he's listening to her, then he can be empowered. That's the dynamic.
That's feminism.
No, that's the way men think the system is built.
No, that's what
I would say Marilyn is correct. Marilyn's right.
Right? Just tell her she's right.
Well, pretty much because men are willing to change their behavior and their actions to conform to woman's standard because they think that it will mean they will have sex. And this has been... And also, if they conform to woman's standard, that means they could also have a higher chance of passing their lineage on.
Oh, that's a good point.
So
That's actually pretty accurate, I would say, but go ahead.
also another thing is prostitution is called the world's oldest trade for a reason, and it's because it is, and it's because one of the reasons it's illegal is because it would pretty much invalidate the government, because people would no longer need to be coerced.
I'll be honest with you, that's a great point. Sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to answer a very good point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll just say sex sells, and it can basically act as a source to modify or control human behavior in a very similar way that the law does.
That's true.
Shadow Buddhist says men are physically stronger than women. Women do not allow men to be in power. Men built the system through physical labor of technology and manufacturing that rules the world. And as James Barron would say, it's a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl.
Well, that's a very interesting thing. I just want to say this really quickly. So, like what Shadow Buddha said, like, yes, it does rule the world, but that also implies that men don't rule the world. And I'm sure he's kind of saying that, but I just want to make that point. Like
the system rules the world, right?
We've got to understand that this system of patriarchy is not even that old. It's only about 5,000 years old.
Yep.
Be a little older,
Maybe 6,000. Yep. Yeah.
Before this, it was all goddess worship. The earth was the great mother. We all came from the womb, and the men protected the women because the women maintained the order.
That's a very interesting hypothesis. I don't know how you get 5,000 years, but I mean, it's interesting.
I get that from the Sumerian Kings List, which is the first patriarchal document in history, where beforehand it was the egalitarian systems typically guided by the Great Mother, or they at the very least were animistic and recognized that.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, and this is not a knock on you. I'm just saying, like, trying to understand the interpolation of like the 5,000-year-old document. I mean, that's a big claim, but I get you. But what would the
Set, new?
I think it's about 3,800 years old.
How does the god Set fit into this? That's what I want to ask you.
What's good, Harper?
Set. Well, this is actually Anubis here. But Set is the dude. Set is the red blood. The red bloods are us. He fought the blue bloods. The blue bloods are represented by Osiris. The blue bloods are the people who basically control the systems of control, and they need to suppress the red bloods. This is what the red shield is.
They call us the red-blooded Americans.
That might be. I never made that connection, but that's possible.
It's deeper than that because it has to do with race, actually.
And y'all get into some mass psychosis. I feel like even before the woman being praised and idol worshipped, there was a union between the two where it wasn't in the balance.
Men were they allowed it. Men have always allowed women. That's the whole point. We protected women. Hold on. They protected women as far as understanding that women is the way how we get back here. They're portals, not goddesses. They're portals. They can go either way. They're gonna go to be whoever's in power. Women are gonna conform to that. So all like a woman's worldview is kind of obsolete.
I just want to say there's a lot of wisdom on this panel, and I don't say that often, but there's a lot of wisdom on this. That's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But do you feel what I'm saying? Though? Like men allow women.
Yeah, I agree.
Always been an allowance because, like I was saying in the chat, it was kind of women really messed up when they thought women's rights was sexual liberation, sexual deviancy, and then I don't think women are really going to recover from that until men really, you know what I'm saying? Like we're doing now, we're putting our foot down and like saying like no, like we want a certain type of woman, like we don't really want that. And I feel like that's always been the case throughout history.
Did you say something about portals?
Women are portals.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. So
But that
that
doesn't
actually
make them
goes.
greater
Well,
than.
That
people are
goes
going to say
back
that's
to what
misogyny
Marilyn
and
was saying.
objectification.
No, this goes back to what Marilyn was saying and what I was saying about women being the leaders or the order or the order givers, and also Marilyn was saying what exactly did she, oh, she said that it was more union before and more balanced. Okay, and she's right. But the reason that women are seen as closer to this union is because before, human beings are described as being basically like beings of light, similar to Aurora Borealis, and Native Americans even think that their ancestors are Aurora Borealis. And these beings were basically capable of abiogenesis, meaning they didn't have to have sex to reproduce. And
You talking about
because
the
the
Anunnaki?
woman, what?
You talking about the Anunnaki?
No, this is even before them.
Before the
Way
Anunnaki?
before that. Way before the Anunnaki. Yeah.
The Anunnakis went before the Sumerians.
Yeah, but they're still flesh and blood beings. I'm talking about things that are beyond that.
Okay.
But the reason that women are seen as closer to these beings is because women are the ones who hold another life in themselves and give birth through what you were calling the portal. And this is how I think they're described of giving birth through abiogenesis, these beings.
You mean by
Yes, but a
themselves?
woman would be nothing. But that's impossible. A woman would be nothing without the man. The man brings life. The man brings they can't just,
It was one gender in sacred union. There was no man or woman. It was like the yin and yang in one thing.
Right.
But regardless of that,
Right.
it is there's both of us now here today, right? And what we talked about Maryland before, like the law of gender, the Hermetic laws, right? Isn't that one thing?
Right.
The law of gender.
Yes.
So with that said,
Right.
Tom, so you're saying before that, what you're talking about precedes that, or no, supersedes?
Yeah,
I mean, comes
yes.
before.
That's hermetics.
I don't believe that.
Well, that sounds like the one flesh type deal, like your polar opposite. That's how probably the best design for women. That's what I was even saying in the chat. Look at how she's designed. Women could go sleep around with as many guys as they want, destroy their pH balance, destroy their bodies. Hold on, let me finish. With me, it's more naturally. Think about it. Oh my God!
Hold on, let him finish, please. Come on, please let him finish. Thank you.
Then you think about a master lock and a lock. A master lock unlocks every lock. That's what we have. You know what I'm saying? That's why I believe in just how.
You mean your penis? Sorry,
yeah,
I
just,
say
you know what I'm saying? Just like how things are designed, like multiple days in a week. How women are biologically or genetically designed. It's more. It would be better for men to have 3 to 4 wives, like a king. There's a reason why the king doesn't move on the chessboard after the queen. That's what women get confused. It's simple.
No, there's nothing simple about that.
See?
Nothing. There's no order to
There's
that. That's
nothing
why
simple about men.
That's why there needs to be an order
being
to
graceful
things.
towards women.
No, there's an order to things. Okay, you are allotted. You have your lot in life, and you are not supposed to go into anyone else's lane. God has prepared you a perfect design. You are the image of God.
Let her line the plane.
Right.
Please.
You are the image of God. So you have a perfect partner designed for you, perfectly woven to your journey, fits perfectly with you. You have your parts, they have their parts, but you fit together, yin and yang. This is reality. This has always been reality. I refuse to believe in evolution or creation. I believe we are God. We always were, and we always will be. Everyone had a mother and father before them. There is no infinity without infinity, and infinity goes both ways. It can't just go one way. There's no negatives or 0 to 1. This is infinity has a meaning. It goes both ways. I do not hold to any of these idols that you're talking about. there's an order to things, and you have a design. This is the only reality we have seen. This is the only reality that we know. It is no favor to us to fantasize and create some sort of thing outside of us that does not exist, that you have never seen, in order to not take accountability and responsibility for yourself and your capacity.
Okay.
Yeah.
CM or anybody else?
I have no clue what she was saying. I don't know if she knew what she was saying. All she said was like God, and God wasn't God, and she's pretty much.
I think
saying.
Can I ask Marilyn? What exactly does she? What is her definition of an idol?
Anything that you give more power and authority to over God's promises over us. Anything that you're idolizing and giving power to over than what you are already.
Can you define God? Because I feel like you're definitely misinterpreting it.
We're all God. We're all God.
What do you mean
because
we're
of
all
God.
God?
We all have the same power and authority as God.
Was that supernatural, or because y'all feel like you're referring to it as like
No,
not supernatural?
It's not wrong. Yeah.
I'm saying that we're the image of God. We are co-heirs with Christ.
Is that only while we're in our physical body or beyond our physical body?
We have Father. We know Father's business. We are literally have the mind of Christ. In these bodies is our perfect design. We have a design, and nothing is wrong with it. Whatever God sends out, we are God also.
Christ
the fact that
are you talking about Christ consciousness, like David Wilcox or something? Or what?
No, bro. I'm saying that everyone either serves a death cult or is an idol worshiper or both. We are all giving power to death and preparing to die.
Wait. You said everyone. So does that mean like everyone can't avoid it? Or so you two, everyone?
There are people trying to harness the energy to live forever, but the Bible calls death an enemy and the last enemy to be destroyed. I believe our flesh is just as precious to God as our spirit. So like at some point, we're going to have to come to terms with that love and not want it. Our grandkids don't want us to die. Our children don't want us to die. At some point, we're going to have to come to
I understand what you're saying, but can you define
resolution?
Death? Can you define what death means?
It's an enemy. It's an enemy. It's an enemy. It's a liar that we believe and give power to, like an idol. It's an idol. It's an idol.
Can you elaborate on that? Like, how is it? Why is it?
Because I believe in Christ. I believe in God. So believe when Jesus comes.
So please, can you tell me what death is as far as the evil idol?
It is not natural. If we are reality and exist and our truth, and we were never intended to die, there's no reason we should be perishing. We should have eternal power within us to never perish, but live forever.
Okay, let's they're gonna put the period on that, bookmark on that, because next episode we can talk about death and all that, what it means, because I think I need to be a little bit more unpacking on that, and I want to hear other people's views on it.
Got there one thing real quick. There's a spirit called Doth. Are you talking about Doth?
No, death as in dying of the
That's
flesh.
where Doth comes from. That's where death comes from. The spirit of Doth.
A demon. It's a lie being believed. I believe when Jesus comes back, some will be raised from the dead, some will be healed, and some will just walk right in. So if we just walk right in, we'll escape death.
Nice.
All right.
We gotta go. No, good. Let the song play out, and it's very fitting. It's called "Murder She Wrote." Go ahead, Neurojack. You can talk over the song.
So I'll be really brief. I'm just gonna say, appreciate everybody here. You guys are wise. I've been restreaming this, so it's live. No plans. If you want to come. Don't care, but I appreciate everybody here. Give Gabriel some money. Help this guy grow his channel, please. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
I would need a link panel if I was gonna go.
Yeah, here I'll get the link. I got it. Nero, where's the link? I got you the link. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks. Next time.
We'll see you next time, Marilyn and everybody.
Yeah, peace.
Peace, guys. Neurojack, give me the link, please. Let's go. Let me tell you, the name is Marilyn. All right. Dawn, appreciate you.
Oh my goodness.
Murder, she love.
Yeah,
Murder, she run. Thanks, Markella.
Murder, she wrote. Watch your now stand still. You not pay me like bill. If you test a ragamuffin, girl, you go and get killed. Girl, keep wait.
We end the show talking about death and then murder, she wrote.
If me DJ girl come out, because you not shock out when you hear the ragamuffin, if you jump and shout, not touch me gate. You not pay me what I read the concrete is great.
Machine, can you give me the link? Please.
Them the kind of living can hold chaka from it. You pretty face and bad character. Them the kind of living can hold chaka. Say girl you pretty, you face it pretty, but your character dirty. Girl you just a act too dirty.
We need the Neurojack link.
Oh yeah, give me a second.
And when you find your mistake, you talk about your sorry, sorry.
Now every nigga that they hear this young girl have a passion. For the coolie white man, Indian, not sitting on his fan. And just the other day, me see her 6 months pregnant. Now she back for sweet again with not a baby in a prom.
Oh yeah, bro. He's very grateful.
Her beauty's like a bunch of roses. And if I ever tell you about Maxine, you older say I don't know what I know, but murder she wrote. Murder she wrote. Murder she wrote. No. Murder she wrote.
Excuse me. You already know what's so you see it. Ragamuffin Jack and you must come to flash it same way. Oh, follow me. You pretty face and bad character. Them the kind of living can hold chaka. Follow me. You pretty face and bad character.
Fire.
Hold chaka. So girl you pretty, you face it pretty, but your character dirty. Girl you just act too dirty. You want to come thick and also hurry. And when you find your mistake, you talk about your sorry. The girl a boss and a brag on she look sexy. All she worship is mere vanity. The girl a boss and a brag on she look ready.
Neurostream, here we go. Thank you. Markella and the Neurostream. Everybody hop on. Keep the party going. I gotta go in my hyperbolic chamber.
Tell us how it was.
That's it.
Next time.
Now you heard about this girl, her name is
Marilyn.
Her beauty's like a bunch of roses. If I ever tell you about Maxine, you older say I don't know what I know.
Murder she run.
All right, y'all. Let me get up in this stream and whatnot. Because we're still here. But yeah, blessings. Thank you guys for watching. We've been here for a while now, right? I gave introduction to the topics, right? We're mainly going to be talking about that tomorrow, right? And I gave a little thing on Hegel here. But yeah, blessings to the people. We're going to be looking at Skolimowski, right? His ideas about the philosophy of technology, right? We're also going to be looking at Rene Guénon, right? We got some interesting work by Rene Guénon and also Nick Bostrom on the history of transhumanism. He's provided his own history. We're going to try to see how his views either parallel or contradict our own analysis of the situation. So we'll give lots of critiques starting tomorrow, right? Here, hold on. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think we can send our audience to Neurojack. Either he's busy or he hasn't set up his stream. So anyways, we'll end the stream here. I greatly appreciate you guys. And here is a musical outro that we usually play out here. Blessings. Let me see what we'll go with here. And yeah, blessings to all the people.
And you may find yourself living in a shotgun shack. And you may find yourself in another part of the world. And you may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile. And you may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife. And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here? Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again. After the money's gone, once in a lifetime, water flowing underground. And you may ask yourself, how do I work this? And you may ask yourself, where is that large automobile? And you may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful house. And you may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful wife. Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue. After the money's gone, once in a lifetime, water flowing underground. And you may ask yourself, how do I work this? And you may ask yourself, where is that large automobile? And you may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful house. And you may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful wife. Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again. After the money's gone, once in a lifetime, water flowing underground. Same as it ever was. 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 Same as it ever was.
And you may find yourself living in a shotgun shack. And you may find yourself in another part of the world. And you may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile. And you may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife. And you know, you may say to yourself, well, how did I get here?
Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again. After the money's gone, once in a lifetime, water flowing underground.
You may ask yourself, what is that beautiful house? You may ask yourself, where does that highway go to? You may ask yourself, am I right? Am I wrong? And you may say to yourself, my God, what have I done?
Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again, into the silent water, under the rocks and stones. There is water underground.
as it ever was. Same 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 as it ever was.
Blessings.